Following is a sponsored program paid for by Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results, and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning, Andy Brownell. News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. Joined again this morning by Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. Good morning, Robin.
Hey, good morning.
Well, the weather certainly is a bit frightful out there.
Oh, burr.
Yeah. So is it is it finally having an impact on real estate in the market?
Oh, boy. That is the million-dollar question, because now I'm going to sound like a big fat liar, because I've always told you that as soon as the weather gets cold, things start to slow down. And that is absolutely not the truth this year. It doesn't matter how cold it is. We had a couple of new listings come on the market. One was Wednesday, one was Friday, and both of them were literally booked every single time slot with showings. Now, Wednesday it wasn't as cold, but yesterday was definitely colder, and the listing, I think, had 21 showing requests.
That's crazy.
Oh, my gosh. Everything that you've been hearing, everything I've been telling you about low inventory, it is so true. And for some agents, it is like freezing them in their tracks because there's just nothing to sell. But we are so lucky because we do such a vast majority of the listings. You know, we always have a lot of listings, and it's nice because it's like supplying inventory for our team members, because they always know about it before everybody else knows about it, and they can always, let their buyers know and get the jump start, right?
But yeah, I mean, even in this kind of weather, you have that many people willing to go out and look at a house.
Since I have spoke to you last, I personally have done like 8 or 10 real estate transactions, and it's all been like, so last Saturday it all started, and I had a listing that some people had put a contingent offer on, so we put their house on the market last Saturday. Showings, multiple offers. My buyer got it. Okay, so then that buyer had to put their house on the market. They're the ones that had come on this last Wednesday. Showings, multiple offers. One of my team members' buyers got it. Then, so that was like 3, both sides of the first one, both sides of the second one, both sides of the third one. So it's like those 3 listings created 6 transactions for our team. And then we had the similar situation where I sold a house, another company's listing, and then had to sell their house, and then I sold that one myself. Had to list theirs. One of the team members sold theirs. One of the other team members sold that one so that we could put that one on the market, and then one of our team members sold that one. So it's just like boom, boom, boom. And from the outside, looking in, that could seem really unfair. Like, oh, you guys have all the listings and you're not sharing them. But that's not the case. They're open for everybody to view, right? They're open for everybody to come out and see. But a lot of times when a seller already has a relationship with an agent, so I mean they already know me and trust me, if one of the buyers belongs to me or one of my team members, they often feel like that's a huge advantage just to stay working with the realtor that I already know and not worry about what might be coming into the picture. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. It's an example where, in this case, bigger meaning market share is better.
It's so important, so important. I saw this little meme on Facebook. There were like 2 Barbie dolls, and one was like Malibu Barbie, and she was all suntan, her hair was all done up, her sunglasses on top of her head, and it said listing agent. Then there was another one that was completely frazzled, wiping tears from her eyes, buyer's agent, because it's like you go out and you try to get your buyers a deal, and you're outbidding you're trying to outbid the next guy. People are waiving inspections to try to make their offer stronger, and especially if there's somebody else that needs to get theirs sold, to remove a contingent offer on something above, then that no inspection is so intriguing to that seller. So there's just so many moving pieces to the cog,
In January and February.
Exactly. Exactly. I was, okay, we did the radio show in the morning, and then I worked 12 hours Saturday and 12 hours Sunday, and every single day this week, kid you not, on Friday, last night, or this morning, I should say, we got home at 12:30 a.m. because after working and negotiating on 3 or 4 deals starting from dinner time on, finally left the office and then had to go, and Scott shoveled 3 driveways for people.
Well, that's nice of him, considering everything else that's going on. Goodness.
Well, he said, I don't need to go to the gym, that's for sure. And the people that we hired to do it didn't get to it, and he was feeling really bad. So he's like, I'm just going to knock those ones out. I'm like, all right, you go for it. I sat in the nice warm truck and watched him.
That reminds me, though, of the days when we didn't have a lot of gyms around here because people didn't have snow blowers. Everybody had to shovel out by hand.
Yep. And the thing that was scary about it, and I still get so nervous when I see older people out shoveling.
Yeah.
It just makes me like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's always so worrisome. You know, I always hear the scanner traffic from my other part of work, and you do hear it. The ambulances do go out on those days when there's deep snow, that's for sure.
Well, this last snow, Scott actually fell down 3 times in our driveway because it was like an ice skating rink underneath the snow. It was a tricky one yesterday.
So going back to the market, the way it is right now, and I still can't get over that it's sub-zero weather and you have this stuff going on. That's got to make it so incredibly important to have that first offer that you write up be just unbelievable, I suppose.
Oh, my gosh. There's no, do you think we can try this and hopefully they'll counter us? No. Because they're going to look at the best offer, and that's where they're going. And it's not, when you get into those multiple offers, it's not like, do we have to go over the asking price? It's how much over the asking price do we have to go?
And how do you, as the agent for the buyer, determine that?
Well, I always have a little counseling session before we actually go out hunting and saying, you have to keep your head on. You can't let your emotions, get carried away. It all depends on how appropriately the properties are listed. I always try to price them where we talked about the sweet spot, right? Where the seller's going to get a good price, but there's still room for a bidding war because it's not past where it will appraise. So it's like, okay, let me just give you an example. If I think maybe I could sell your house for $355 and it would appraise, I might say, okay, let's go on the market at $350 and just see what happens. And then if we end up selling it for $361 instead of $355, the appraiser's going to say, well, they had it priced really well to start with, so there was a little room, and maybe this is a little past the appraised value, but I understand they had 11 offers in day one, and all of that plays into it.
Okay, I'm going to go back and ask you this, because this is intriguing to me with the appraiser. When you have this kind of situation where the market is just hot, red hot,
right?
The appraisers can't ignore that, right? I mean, that does reflect reality. If the houses are being sold for this amount of money, they must be worth somewhere near that.
Well, and what helps us is that there's always those cash buyers. And so with the cash buyers, they don't have to appraise, okay? Because they've got the cash, they're not borrowing the money, this is what I want to pay for it. So now that becomes a legitimate comp. So if we have a comp that somebody maybe did pay a little more than it was probably supposed to sell for, but they wanted it and they could and they did, that helps us. Because when appraisers come out, they have to have physical comparable houses that have sold. They can't just say, ooh, that sounds like a good price, I'll go for that. I mean, the bank and the underwriters are looking for, show me, your comparable 1, your comparable 2, your comparable 3. They got to be within a certain distance. They have had to sell within a certain time frame, similar year built, similar square foot, similar size bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. And so when they can show that on paper, that's how they come up with their appraised value. But yes, there are some external factors that do come into play. Like they can write a note and say, listen, these people had 11 offers, and of the 11, 8 of them were $5,000 over the ask. So clearly, it's worth it.
And but you're talking about these comps. And so in other words, it takes there's a lag of probably months before the appraised values catch up with what's really happening in the marketplace.
Actually, with the electronic system that the assessors have and everything, as soon as something closes, boom, bang, that data is in. So I don't think so.
Okay,
well,
I was just
pretty accurate. Yeah.
I was just thinking in terms of how little inventory there is to find a house that would be comparable to the one that was in that area during that time period.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah, no, their job's not easy. I'm not going to say. Yeah, it's not. They work hard. They work really hard.
And it's not like they want to stop the sale from going through either.
No, exactly. And they don't. The other thing that they don't want to do is say that a house is worth more than it is, because that's not doing anybody any good.
Right.
So their job is to come out as a
referee.
There you go. Really, they're like, there's nothing in it for them to say what the value is or the value isn't, and their job is to just give the real value, not, I like that realtor, so I'm going to push it, or I don't like that realtor, so I'm going to make that deal fall apart. It's not like that.
All right. Well, we have to take a break already. We're talking with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group-RE results here on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers.
Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning and welcome back. Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney. Gwaltney Group-RE results here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM. So we've been talking about how fast things are moving right now, and my mind is just, it seems like a pace that's so incredible to be able to react that quickly when an opportunity arises. But I imagine to be in the position to react quickly, you're going to have a lot of stuff done beforehand.
Yeah, so true.
The prep work.
So let's talk about that from a couple of different viewpoints, okay? So first of all, let's talk about it with the sellers. So sellers oftentimes are saying to me, Robin, I'm ready to sell my house. However, I'm not going to sell it until I found something that I like, because I don't want to be homeless, right? I don't want to put my house on the market. Okay, great, I've got an offer, but where am I moving to? So that's a real deal. So this is what we do. We say, all right, if you know you're going to be on the lookout for a house, let's get you prepared on the back end. Let's get your house all cleaned, all organized, ready for photos. Heck, let's get your photos taken so we've got them ready to just put up. If you decide, if I find a house for you tonight, tomorrow morning we make your house go live, okay? Because we've done our homework. We've prepared. So a lot of times I'm saying, now more than ever, I think it's a great idea to get a pre-inspection, because if you have multiple offers and you make this pre-inspection available to these people, so that they're not just saying, oh my God, I don't know if there's anything wrong, I don't want to waive my inspection. But if there's a pre-inspection and they can read that pre-inspection, oftentimes they will say, you know what, I'm very comfortable. I know this inspector. He's the guy I used when I bought the last house I had. I feel really good about that. There's no reason for me to get him back out here next week to tell me the same things that he told them last week. So I'm fine with just accepting this house without an inspection. Okay?
That makes sense.
Not as likely to happen if you haven't had your home pre-inspected. So I tell people, let's get your house pre-inspected. That way that pre-inspection report is there. That inspection report is there. So if somebody does want to act fast and say, okay, we want to buy this house, we don't need an inspection, we don't have anything we have to sell, here's our pre-approval letter. So basically it's like a slam dunk, right? That gives that person the position to move on the house that they've been eyeballing, or maybe they have been lucky enough to get a contingent offer accepted, knowing that their house was going to sell quickly. Okay?
Yeah.
So that goes back to I should back up a little bit. I was talking about how I have these listings and then me or somebody on my team sells them. And it sounds like, geez, we're hogging our inventory. And I don't want people to think that. I mean, we're very much a part of the MLS, and we very much welcome offers from other agents and showings from other agents. And we understand the importance of the relationship with other agents and having to sell their stuff so they can sell our stuff. We get that. That's really important to us. But there are rules that we have to follow. And one of the rules is, if we have something coming on the market, like I have this great house that's going to come in a few days, I can't, by law, come on the radio and talk about it. I can't tell the general public. I can't call my agent friends at Edina Realty and say, hey, do you have anybody for a 2-story in Foxcroft? It's a beautiful house, blah, blah, blah. I'm making that up, of course.
Sure.
But anyway, I can't, by law, I cannot share that information outside of our brokerage. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with me getting on our RE/MAX Results Facebook page and saying, hey guys, I've got a great this or that coming, just to give you all a heads up, right? So when those appointments get scheduled, there's only so many people that can get in. Like you mentioned, we're not letting 6 people come in and look at the same time. We're being very COVID conscious. So on these hot new listings, sometimes we have to limit the showing times to 15 minutes. We don't like doing that because it's a pretty darn big purchase to make with a 15-minute showing, right? But if we can, we like to give at least 30. But if the people on our team know about it first, or the people in RE/MAX Results know about it, they'll start booking those showings the minute that thing hits the market, and then all of a sudden nobody else can even get in it. And then the seller has so many offers that they're like, listen, we could go on like this for 2 or 3 more days, but it's the dead of winter. It's cold outside. I don't have any place I want to go hang out. It's COVID time. I don't really feel like going and hanging out at the mall or whatever. So I'm done. I had one of my listings that went on the market Wednesday, and she canceled like 12 showings because she got like 3 great offers. And she's like, listen, we can only sell this house to one person. Why do I need 15 offers? I want to cancel the rest of the showings, and it's her prerogative.
Yeah, you said one of them, you had 50 offers a couple weeks ago?
That was not me. Gosh,
okay.
Thank God that was not me. I would not let that go on and on. But that's what they're doing in other markets. That was actually a friend of mine in Boston.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And it was 45 offers. And I'm like, that sounds absolutely horrible. I mean, the most that I can remember presenting in real recent times is like 12. I mean, that's a lot.
It is.
And that was like 13 people seeing the house and 12 making offers, kind of a thing.
I could see me at the second offer going, which one do we want?
Yeah. It's hard. So it's really important, like lining yourself up with an agent that has those connections, that has that inventory. I mean, it's more important now than it's ever been. And that, whether it's, I guess I'm not going to, of course, I think RE/MAX Results is the greatest. That's why I work here. But I'm not here to say anything about any. We have a lot of great realtors in this town, in this city, that work for all the companies. But I think it's just really important that when you're lining yourself up with an agent, you're making sure it's somebody that's going to be beneficial to you, and make sure that when you're interviewing them, they can tell you why and how they will be.
Yeah, and I can see it specifically in this kind of marketplace where
exactly.
The inventory is so low. That having that huge network built in is such a big deal. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take another quick break. Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group-RE/MAX Results right here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Ye old butcher shop.
Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. I'm Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group-RE/MAX Results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. We've been talking about getting yourself ready in this crazy seller's market and the things you can do to be prepared. And you mentioned the pre-inspection. What other things?
Okay, so we were talking about preparing the sellers specifically.
Yes.
So, all right. So let's just talk about you. You want to sell your house, but you're saying to me, Robin, listen, I'm not letting you sell my house until I know I have a house to buy. And I say that makes sense, but let's get your house ready to fly off the shelf so when you do find a house to buy, boom, yours is gone, because you don't want to be in a position where you have to make a contingent offer, because many times that isn't going to work.
Right.
Okay.
So you come in and tell me what I need to do.
Right. So your house is, it gets list ready. Okay. Even if we don't find you a house for another month, your house is list ready. We've got the contract all signed minus the date. We've got the pictures all taken, ready to be put online. We've got your seller's disclosures filled out. We've had our pre-inspection done. We are ready. So then if I go take you out to look at houses this week and we find one, you say, yep, this is the one I want to get this one, let's get my house sold. Now sometimes you're approved to have both mortgages, which is a huge advantage, but even in that case, most people don't want both mortgages. So for a peace of mind, they want to know that their house is going to sell quickly so that it will close at the same time the one they're buying is, right? So they don't have to do a bridge loan, or they don't have to worry about taking money out of their 401k or having double payments. So we just want to have you ready. So, okay, we find your house and you say, yep, this is the house I want. I'm ready to write an offer on this. Let's get mine sold. We literally put that house on the market the next day, because the pictures are taken, the inspection's been done, the disclosures have been filled out, you've signed the listing contract. Now we put a date in and boom, it's uploaded. Okay? So the good news is, not only is it online, I've already told everybody here at RE/MAX that this house is coming. Now I can say, okay, that house is ready, it's online. Boom, 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 we get the showings, boom, sold. So it's just that preparation, getting it ready. And other agents see it too. You know, I mean, they get to see it on MLS. Yeah. So if they see it and set up an appointment, great. I mean, I told you we had a house with 21 showings yesterday. I would say about half were from RE/MAX and half were from other companies. So it's not like we're just excluding everybody. That would be unethical, it would be wrong, and it's not something we're interested in doing. So I'm not trying to say that in any way, shape, or form.
No, I get what you're saying, though. You're saying, though, that there's, when the market is this way, those slots are limited in availability, and those who have better access.
The heads up, they've got the heads up. They know it's coming, right?
That's just
so
the way it is.
we get that house on the market, we get that baby sold. That buyer now, well, that was the seller in that case, now feels ready to pounce on the one that they saw and fell in love with, and can write their offer. So it's very time sensitive, very, very time sensitive.
It's crazy how time sensitive. I mean, you're talking within hours you're doing this.
Right. And with buyers, we've always talked about the preparation for a buyer is to already have your pre-approval letter in hand. I mean, it doesn't even make sense to go look at a house if you don't have that, because you're not writing a offer without that.
Right.
Okay. And we've talked a little bit about this before. A lot of buyers will add, if they fall in love with the house, they'll add a Dear Sellers letter. Like, Dear Sellers, we love your house. We can envision ourselves raising our kids here. Because sometimes if a seller is looking at 5 offers and they're within dollars of each other because everybody's gone X number of thousand over the asking price, then sometimes those will be the deciding factors. Sometimes it'll be, oh, I like this bank. That's my banker. I know her. I feel good about that. Sometimes it'll be, oh, that gal's a nurse. I'm a nurse. I mean, there's lots of different reasons why people will choose one offer over the other offer. But I'm not one that believes in every single person writing a sappy letter every single time they write an offer. I think if there's something that really moves you about that house, or there's something that connects you and you want to share that with the seller and it's authentic, then I think it's a good idea to do it.
Yeah, because I could see it working against you.
My
That's
gosh.
disingenuous.
Sometimes I read them and I'm like, but especially when I've seen basically the same form letter over and over and over from the same agent or something. It's like, oh no, not good.
But I can see where it would work if you were a person who lived in this home a long time and you have your memories tied up with your family being raised there, and somebody's a young family coming in and
with a heartfelt letter, and they really mean it. I mean, that does matter to people. They really like that. People care about who's going to live in their house next, whether they should or shouldn't. I mean, it's a very personal and sentimental thing to a lot of people, especially people who've lived there for a long time.
I get sentimental when I sell a car, for crying out loud.
Okay, I don't. No, I don't. I'm ready for the new one.
I'll probably sob if I have to sell the house. Yeah.
I'll bring lots of Kleenex. Don't worry.
Don't worry. There you go. Boy, oh boy. I just still can't get over that we're talking about this in February when we're freezing our tails off right now. That this is the kind of activity that's going on right now.
It's really exciting. I have to say, it just makes me feel so good because it's such a positive thing. I mean, it just shows that people are thriving, right? And people are doing well. And yes, of course, in the news, we see everybody that's struggling and how hard COVID has hit. And that's true. And there's a lot of people that are, and a lot of people have lost their jobs. But it's also really refreshing to see that there are a lot of people that are thriving and that are out buying houses and moving up. When I talked about those situations, it's fun to watch the girl sell her first home, for a couple $100,000 and move up to the one that's $400,000. And so that those buyers or those sellers can move up to their dream home at $650,000 or whatever. It's right. Fun to watch the progression, and especially when I've been their agent the whole way, and I'm watching them go from the $200,000 to the $400,000 to the $650,000. I mean, it's very rewarding. I absolutely love that part of my job. So,
if you're listening to this right now and you want to connect with Robin and be part of her group, if you're a buyer or a seller, how do you connect?
Well, I would absolutely welcome a call on my cell phone. I have my cell phone with me all the time. That phone number is 507-259-4926. And believe me, if I'm available, I will answer. Otherwise, if you want to check us out online, just go to Gwaltneygroup.com. You can read about our group. You can see some of the homes we have listed, and you can learn more about us.
Fantastic. We will talk to you next week, Robin. Thank you so much.
Sounds great.
All right. That's Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Mayo Clinic Radio on the house.
Hola, ¿me puedes dar un sausage McMuffin? No, un sausage biscuit, por favor. Y un caramel frappé pequeño. No, mejor mocha. Uy, con extra chocolate.
Claro, Miss Vázquez. Pase a la siguiente ventanilla.
El ¿cómo me decido si todo es tan rico deal? Llévate un McCafé pequeño por $2, solo en el $1, $2, $3 menu de McDonald's. Precios y participación pueden variar. No se puede combinar con cualquier otra oferta o combo meal.